James and Jake versus Romeo and Nikhil on court number 3.
It's my biggest test yet. Romeo Beckham and GB's number 4, Nikhil Mohindra, versus myself and GB's number 6, Jake Bewley. And the work I've been doing on and off the court helped me raise my game in the quarterfinals of the Grade 4 in London, or am I going to suffer another tournament defeat? Every tournament day starts with a familiar routine. Get up, get ready, and get moving. But today felt different. The tournament started at 5 PM, and there was a potential I could be playing in the biggest match I've ever played against Romeo Beckham and Nikhil Mohindra. But in order to get to that, we had 2 matches to win first. With the first one being myself and Jake versus Matteo and Thomas. And these first 2 matches were played under fast 4 rules. So it's the first to 4 games for a set, and if it's 3-all, then it goes to a tiebreak to 7. And even though I was pretty nervous and tentative like normal, playing with Jake is awesome as he was really supportive throughout. Plus, of course, it helps that he's one of the best players in the country. We managed to get the break at 3-2 on Matteo's serve to then win that set 4-2. Now just 1 set away from advancing in the tournament. In the second set now, and Jake especially was playing so loosely, which was awesome to see, hitting some great smashes and some more delicate shots, one of which you're going to see in just a moment. And a shout out to Matteo and Thomas. They played really well, and they took us right to the limit. They stayed in the point longer in the second set, and in actual fact, even though we got an early break in the set, the guys came back and fought really well. My lobbing throughout personally just wasn't hitting the length or height I needed to be getting, and that contributed to them breaking us back for sure, which then took us to a tiebreak at 3-all, which is where nerves really started to hit for me. It only takes a few bad points, and suddenly you've lost the set, and you're into another tiebreak to decide the whole match. Plus, my tiebreak record isn't amazing. I tend to nudge the ball about because I don't want to make a mistake. But fortunately, this one was different. With the help of Jake, we were able to close it out 7-4 to win the match 4-2, 4-3. Well played to Matteo and Thomas. And of course, then it was on to the next match, which was 1 step away from playing Nikhil and Romeo. And that match was against George and Eddie. And just as you watch us warming up, I said to myself that in this match, I just wanted to go for my shots more. And in the second point, I had that opportunity. Can't think of many times where I've actually popped the ball out of the court and then pushing the net for the volley to finish the game, even though I genuinely almost tripped over myself and fell into the net. One thing we found in this set is that George and Eddie tended to play to Jake's sweet spot for crunching the ball essentially, so he was able to find a really awesome rhythm on his smashes early on in this one, which meant that we could win this set 4-2. Much like the first game, George and Eddie really dug in, kept in the point longer, got me more involved too, and started playing smartly, many times catching me in no man's land, which is really poor positioning from myself. And then with us not playing to our level, making a few more mistakes, and on a fast 4 format, it's really easy to find yourself at a tiebreak at 3-all, where we actually took a very commanding lead to 3-love. Jake responsible for some awesome points early on, and even though George and Eddie managed to come back to 3-all, we managed to hold on, finishing out the tiebreak at 7-3, or a 4-2, 4-3 victory once again, where now our sights turned to a match against Romeo Beckham and Nikhil Mohindra in the quarterfinals. Right, ready? Let's do this. Okay, this is it. I'm absolutely buzzing from going out in my last tournament, which admittedly was a grade 2 in the first round, to now being in the quarterfinals of a grade 4, playing with Jake Bewley against Romeo Beckham and Nikhil Mohindra. Mad. What an experience to be had for me, right? I've got nothing to lose. Obviously, unless it goes absolutely horrendously and I embarrass myself, then I've got a lot to lose. Once we had finished our warm-up, it was time. Here are the match highlights. Right, so coming into this match, I wouldn't say I was nervous, I just wanted to play really well. And here is, in the second point of the match, a lob here from myself and an absolutely mammoth smash from Romeo, great shot for 15-all. And I think the main thing, other than obviously the standard of play inside of this match, of course I'm playing with some of the top people in the country, as well as Romeo Beckham, who is a fantastic athlete and really good at paddle, was that it was a very physical match. you know, and being 38 years old, I think I really felt that physicality. So yeah, my conditioning is definitely something I need to be working on. Jake serving now, we're break point down 30-40, lob here from myself, an overhead from Nikhil, and it's actually infuriating how heavy I am on my feet. I mean, to try and half volley that shot is one thing, but to do it with that type of posture, absolutely pathetic. So not a great start, right? We've just been broken in the first game of the quarterfinals. And what's worse is, Romeo and Nikhil were both playing really well, so getting a break back was always going to be tough. But when you've got someone like Jake on your team, he can always produce a little bit of magic. Through the legs from Nikhil, awesome skill, and then a backhand pop out from Jake, awesome stuff. And for myself, at least in these early exchanges, I really felt that I held my own. And I felt that I played the best in this match out of the whole tournament, which is something I'm personally really pleased about. Just long there from Nikhil, and we take an early lead in this game, 30-love. And after some frenetic, fast-paced stuff, we managed to take that game and get ourselves on the scoreboard. It's now 2-1 to Romeo and Nikhil, and remember, we're still seeking to get that break back. Romeo serving now at 2-1, lob there from myself, and I took the brunt of one of Romeo's mammoth smashes. And just so everyone knows, you know, from that shot right there, I haven't suffered any ongoing injuries at all. I can't really see, but I think it's all absolutely fine. I think it's fine. 40-15 now, poor return from myself, great volley from Romeo. It's 3-1. And in the next game on Jake's serve, Romeo and Nikhil really applied some pressure to us. This is at 40-30. Fortunately, we're able to secure the game to make it 3-2. And even though we were a breakdown in this set, when Jake produces points like this, you always feel that there's hope. Some well-deserved applause. Thank you. Just what I do. And that hope led us to be at 40-30. Very tight game here. And what you're going to see here is an overhead off of two glasses from Romeo, and I managed to follow it and get it over the net. And I thought it hit the fence. I thought it was out as well as Romeo, but in fact it was in. It's now golden point now. This is our chance to break back. Big smash there from Nikhil, and I managed to block it. A block volley again, and Romeo just wide with the lob. We've managed to break back. It's 3-all now. We're back on serve. And in the next game, we held serve, which means for the first time in the match, we were ahead, 4-3. I think breaking back and being ahead now really helps me. I started coming forward off of Nikhil's overheads, which is something I should have been doing since the start of the match. And that led us to be able to take the net more effectively, in the hope that Jake gets an easier smash to finish off the point, because that more aggressive style was certainly starting to pay off. Here's another example of that in action. And in the next game, we just about held serve, so now we were 5-4 up. And if we broke in this game, we take the first set. Unfortunately though, we didn't. And that wasn't due to not trying either. I'm sure Romeo and Nikhil would say the same. Games were close, and there was some really clinical play from all involved, probably a lesser degree myself. And then that saw us reach 6-all for a first set tiebreak. And in a tiebreak, as you know, normally I'm really tentative and nervous, but I didn't feel it so much in this one. Maybe because of the golfing class of everyone inside of the match compared to me. It kind of didn't make me feel that nervous. I just wanted to play as good as I could, but Romeo and Nikhil were just too good for us in this one. And they took an early break, and then they ended up taking a bit of a commanding lead at 6-2. As well as that though, during the tiebreak, I can't pinpoint the actual moment, but there was a point where it felt like I heavily put my back out. And I've had some severe issues with my back over the past few years, and that worried me immensely. I'll speak more about that in a moment, but first, here's set point to Romeo and Nikhil. And there we go, Romeo and Nikhil, they take the first set 7-6, well deserved, well played from those guys. So I'm walking to get ready for the second set, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a huge potential here that I've got a bit of a disc bulge in my back, and I've probably got around 10 minutes or so before that really starts hitting some nerves and giving me insane pain, and I won't be able to complete the match. And that's genuinely what I was thinking at that moment. I didn't tell Jake because I didn't want to worry him or anything like that, but I've had this happen before to me, and I normally have around about 10 minutes or so before the pain gets unbearable. And then last time this happened, I was out for like 6 to 8 weeks. And my mindset at this point was like, look, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I'm just going to try and put it out of my mind for now and just concentrate on the game. Unfortunately, I was able to. In actual fact, I think in this first game of the second set, I was moving better than I had done the whole match, which was really, really cool. However though, Romeo and Nikhil were playing great. And not only did they take this first game, they broke us early on too. A volley into the net there from myself. It's 2-love to Romeo and Nikhil. And those guys just went from strength to strength. Not only did they hold their own serve, but on my serve, it was 30-40, and they secured themselves the second break. They're 1 set up, 7-6, and they're 2 breaks up in the second set, 4-love. And their clinical play continued. On Romeo's serve here at 40-30, they secure the 5th game of the set. It is now 5-love. We're in danger of being bageled, which is to lose a set to love. Let's see what happens. Can we claw something back? Jake with an awesome backhand slice now at 30-all gives us game point. And here we go then, the point that could potentially stop us being bageled. Back and forth volleys from Romeo and Jake, and Romeo's last volley into the net. Yeah, we might have dodged complete humiliation by not being bageled, but then in the next game on Nikhil's serve, they had match point. Serve there from Nikhil, smash from Romeo, and they win it. 7-6, 6-1, well deserved, and they actually went on to win the whole tournament as well. So awesome job to Romeo Beckham and Nikhil Mohindra. And for me, I had an awesome day. I didn't play as tentative as I normally do, and in that last match there, for the most part, I was really pleased with the level I was able to perform at. I want to give a massive shout out to Jake Bewley for partnering with me. Not that one, the other one. There you go. And I also want to put some focus onto my injury. Again, not that one. I'm talking about my back injury. Because in the morning, things started to take a little bit of a turn for the worst. And I'll be able to tell you all about that in the next video. If you've loved this video, then drop me a like, drop a comment, share this video even. But of course, always subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.